is this Austin?
Yeah.
Hey, this is David with Miracle Canine Training. How are you?
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing. Got a message from you. It looks like you are looking to do something on leash training.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do this series at 3 called Ready, Pet, Go, and it's really just to kind of give different tips and tricks to, you know, for pet owners and things like that. And, you know, my dog, Benson, he's a mini golden doodle. I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, he has some not like leash issues necessarily, but he likes to pull on the leash and things like that. And so I was thinking that it would be great for, I'm sure a lot of other pet owners obviously deal with this too. So if you would be willing to just kind of give us some tips and tricks on just like proper like leash training, what you should do to, you know, like even just training to go to walks. If there's anything you should do before a walk, after a walk, you know, anything like that for a little puppy, you know, what you should, kind of the proper way to, you know, take your dog so they get used to the leash and things like that. So if you're interested and available, would you be available tomorrow potentially to shoot something with me?
What time are you thinking?
Preferably in the morning, but I can make it myself available whenever you can.
Yep. How early are you thinking?
I mean, our show gets done at 7. I would say anywhere in between like 7 and 10:30 or 7 and like noon, I can make myself available. Yeah,
I can make that happen. Excuse me. How much time are you thinking we're going to need for this?
I don't know. How much time do you think? Like, we'll probably need, I would say maybe block out an hour.
Yeah. And how long is the segment typically?
The segment will probably be about 1:30 to 2 minutes, and it'll run probably 2 to 3 times. So it'll definitely run 2 times in our morning show. Yep. And then it will run probably at our 5 o'clock show, and then it'll be online too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I can do. How's like 10 o'clock? Does that work?
10 o'clock? Yeah, that's actually perfect.
And where would we be meeting for this?
You tell me. What's a good place that you kind of typically go to, or do you have a kind of a go-to spot? Yeah,
I mean, we really could do it wherever. I mean, we train it up at like Edgewater a lot. Obviously, we have our facility up here. We have, you know, obviously, like, you know, different local parks and stuff like that. We really could do it wherever.
Tomorrow, let me look at the weather tomorrow, because I think it might supposed to rain.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it's supposed to be a fucking downpour tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
All right.
We could do. I mean, we could do it at my facility if you wanted to.
Oh, you have an actual facility there?
Yeah.
Oh, great. All right, yeah. Let's just do that. You're in Berea?
No, we're in Cleveland, on the west side of Cleveland, on Berea Road.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I just saw it. Oh, okay. I saw Berea on the thing that your phone number is from Berea. So
yeah.
What's your guys' address?
So it's 10237 Berea Road, and then you're going to be looking for Unit J, and that's obviously just Cleveland.
And your name's Dave, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, let's do tomorrow at 10. You said, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll do 10 a.m. for that.
10 a.m. Okay.
And is there anything I should, you know, you would like me to prep for, aside from like what we're going to do for it? Anything you need from me?
You know, yeah, I think just being able to, I'll do an interview, and then we'll do a few run-throughs of different things that, and really this is just for pet owners. Yeah, just keep in mind, you know, this is for pet owners to see this, and you know, something that they can implement. But I mean, we'll also for sure, like, you know, say who you are, where you're from, your Instagram, your TikTok, and then give you a nice publicity on this as well too. So you know, that hopefully someone will watch this and be like, all right, maybe I need to do a little bit more training, and we'll come to you. So yeah. Cool. So besides that, you know, I don't know. We'll kind of figure it out as we go, but just kind of have that general frame of mind.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll have a couple ideas as far as how to demonstrate it and stuff. And then, out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us?
My friend Justin and Emily Thomas, they have packs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm buddies with them, and they told me to hit you up. So
okay.
Yeah. So. they said that you helped with packs a lot. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, I'll come up with a couple ideas as far as different ways we could demo things, and then I'll just run them by you before we start filming. So.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Cool, man. Well, I'm looking for, and then I'll bring my dog Benson.
Okay, cool.
If that works.
Yeah, for sure.
They simply just don't understand what's expected of them in that moment. In a lot of cases, if you look at leashes, if you look at any sort of barriers like windows, doors, fences, stuff like that, they're man-made things that dogs don't inherently just understand, right? So we have to teach them what those things mean. And in a lot of cases, what we wind up teaching them is the exact opposite of what we want. Because they pull on the leash towards something, whether it's a dog, a person, this, that, and then guess what it is that they're trying to get to, right? Whether it's to go get that scratch from that person over there, or say hi to that dog over there, or go smell that enticing spot over there, right? So we have to have a clear expectation of what it is we want the dog to do, which is when they feel that leash pressure, understand that it needs to look to us, whether it's for a reward or for direction or some sort of coaching otherwise. So we work a couple of different drills to teach the dog when they feel pressure, it needs to turn to us as opposed to fight and, kind of act on that opposition reflex that they organically have, and start to gain some kind of like leadership value and a little bit of something in it for them to turn to us.
Sure. Is there anything that we need to think about or do with our dogs before we take them on a walk?
Yeah, I think it's important to not create too much arousal. I think a lot of people hype their dog up so much before they start their walk, and it's like, you want to go for a walk?
We definitely read that.
Just for physical exercise,
sure,
right? But it's also for mental exercise, which is arguably much more important in the animal world, right? So by working some of these different drills and techniques and creating this engagement on the walk and getting them thinking and using their brain, whether it's bringing some treats with you and just working like 10 sits or sit stays out on the walk, or enforcing a heel position for the first half of your walk as opposed to it just being a free-for-all the entire time, you start engaging their little noodle a little bit, which helps get them 10 times more tired. It's like the equivalent of them going to like a full day of work,
sure,
as opposed to like, you look at physical exercise with people, you go to the gym for an hour and you're still going to go for the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benson, you're going to be getting some good paid money here, pal.
That's right.
All right. Before we get into training and things like that, tell us a little bit about Miracle Canine Training, what you guys do.
Yeah, so I've been training dogs now for almost 10 years. I started Miracle Canine, well, I've had a couple different companies, but Miracle Canine Training has been in business since January 2019. We work primarily with behavioral modification stuff, so we work with dogs with more serious problems, anxiety, aggression issues, reactivity issues on the leash, which is something people commonly see. But we also work with pet dogs. We do a lot of puppy stuff. We have 4 different trainers here that have a whole different range of experience and different expertise in the dog industry, so we pretty much help you out with any of your dog needs. We offer daycare and boarding services as a client-exclusive service, so once you train your dog here, you have a safe place you can bring your dog and know that all those rules you work so hard on are going to get enforced while you're gone.
Sure, cool. And what is something that you would say to a dog? Because when you're trying to teach a dog anything, it can be difficult to do, and you kind of get tired of it and things like that. But what would you say to them just to kind of keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to look at the long game of things, right? Behavior is contingent on consistent reinforcement. So I think a lot of people will start training their dog and do some classes, and they'll enforce and reinforce their dog and set the proper boundaries and stuff over the course of that 10-week program or whatever it is, or 10 weeks that they try to do it at home, and then they think they're done, right?
Yeah.
And it just ends and they train the dog and everything's good to go. Training is a long-term communication communication system of being able to teach the dog things, communicate yes and no in a way that they understand, and have a set of skills that we can use within our real life as we need them, right? So you want to understand that if your dog's training may be slipping a little bit, you have to look at it being clear enough to think about what's expected, or is there something in it for them to do it, right?
Sure.
If there's not, why would they do it? How long are you going to go to work for if you don't get a paycheck?
That's a good point. All right, so I think I'm handing over the leash to you. What are we going to run through here?
We're going to work some basic leash drills, teaching him to heed to this leash pressure and get a reward from me so that he starts to understand not necessarily pulling into this leash, obviously, but seeking, you know, what's in the other end of the leash to his handler. So,
Okay.
come on, run along. This is where you typically want to start when you're working with your new dog for this kind of stuff. And basically what we want to teach him is as we're walking around, there's relevancy to paying attention to the handler, right? So as I'm walking, if he starts getting distracted by something, I'm going to apply pressure in my direction, relieve that pressure when he comes with me, good. And then we'll reward him when he does so. And this teaches him when he feels the leash, instead of fighting it and seeing it as this thing he needs to oppose, moving with it is in his favor.
And is this something that you should be doing maybe in your living room before you go out for a walk?
Yeah, living room, backyard, if you have a big open basement, somewhere that's going to be a little bit quieter of an environment. From there, once you start perfecting it in those environments, you move to obviously outside locations. Good. Other mistakes you'll see owners commonly make is whether they're passing distractions, whether it's dogs or people. What they'll do is they'll tighten this leash up a lot, right?
Sure.
They'll shorten it, which naturally we don't want our dog to be running up to every single dog and person that they see. But what happens is because this leash already resembles restraint, the more we restrain the dog, the more frustration we add to things, and the more we actually cause them to want to get towards that trigger in the first place, right? So your best bet if you're passing a dog that may be over there is not to shorten your leash, but keep it loose and just create more distance, right? That way your dog's not getting triggered by that really short leash and all the frustration that might be bottling up, causing them to start trying to pull or lunge over towards that dog. Good.
How's he doing so far?
It looks like he's doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty good. As long as he gets treats, he's a pretty happy boy.
Yep. So obviously if your dog is really food motivated, good. You're going to be able to move through these steps obviously pretty quickly.
What's the ultimate goal? Like, what should any dog owners be for a dog and taking them for a walk and on a leash?
So I try to structure my walks out into 3 sections, right? I'm understanding that you don't want to make our dogs hold like a straight heel position the entire time. That'd be very exhausting for them, obviously. So I try to break up my walk into 3 sections, where for the first third of the walk, I'll enforce some sort of strict position like this to keep them engaged, kind of, you know, tackle that mental stimulation side of things that we discussed. I'll give them a break somewhere in the middle, and that could be a break to just sniff around a little bit, a break to go to the bathroom. That could be a break where if you're in, obviously, a safe and closed area, you can throw a ball for your dog or something like that to let them really burn off some of the physical side of things. And then I end with a little bit of healing again to then again stimulate the mind, and they try to focus them back in after the fact.
Sure. Doesn't necessarily have to be about leash training or going on walks, but in general, what's one thing that you want dog owners to know and be mindful of?
I think one of the biggest things is understanding that they're dogs, right? So we've kind of started to shift into a world where we can take our dogs everywhere, which is phenomenal, right? We can go to patios, right? We can go to all sorts of parks, we can make them all sorts of new friends and stuff like that. But as we're doing that, we're putting them in so many new, really challenging environments. Even coming here to this new place where there's nothing going on, this is stressful for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's a new place, I don't know what's going on, there's this new guy that's holding the leash, right? And sometimes we could like really expect our dog to just be perfect in those scenarios all the time, as opposed to be empathetic of the fact that that can be challenging for them. And that's where training comes into play, because if we have communication established effectively with them, we can give them direction in those situations, as opposed to leaving them on their own to handle and figure out all of those outside stressors.
Sure.
Come on, bud. Good. Then obviously as you're doing this, you can start fading out your rewards, and you want to make sure that he's understanding still. Just moving with that leash and steady position without the need for constant rewards. Right?
Yeah.
So we're leveraging both ends of the spectrum of reinforcing when he does things correct, and then creating boundaries when he's doing things incorrect, so he understands really where those parameters are that we want him to stay within. And he's doing really well here right now.
Now, do you suggest any like kind of tightening a little bit? Like if he like drips off and like is starting to sniff something?
So basically with your leash, you want quick little bits of information like that. So I didn't shorten the leash or tighten it or anything. I just applied a little bit of pressure in my direction and then relieved that pressure the second he moved with it, right? So you shouldn't really be needing to hold that leash super short, right? Because let's say I was holding it like this all the time, right? There's constant tension on that leash.
Yeah.
He's not learning anything from that, right? I'm just physically holding it there. Or if I hold it loose, and I walk, and he's choosing to stay there on his own, that's him engaging his mind and actually learning, right? It's like the difference of if I just taught my dog to not jump on you versus if I physically held them down so they couldn't jump on you, right? We want dogs to think and learn this stuff and start to process that information so they can make the decisions on their own. Good job, bud. Again, it's giving me really great engagement right now. You can tell he's starting to get the game. Good.
And that is something, like, that's a good thing to know, is that to make it a game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't want training to be the worst thing in the world for your dog, right? Inevitably, you know, if you're dealing with more serious issues or anything like that, some of it is going to be difficult for them as they overcome some of these emotional hurdles, right? But for the most part, training should be this fun kind of bonding experience for your dog, right? And the more fun your dog has, the more fun you have, the longer term you're going to enforce this stuff for, right? If this sucks to do for him or for you, you're not going to do it, right? Or if he's having fun and we can see he's having fun, I'm going to have fun with that process as well. He's like, what are you doing with that camera in my face? Hey, come on. Good. So great example there. That was obviously a challenging distraction, right? We applied that leash pressure. Good. And he understood how to move with it. And you see now, good. He's starting to turn away from that distraction even more. Good. And this is a good thing to know because that camera right there, he's clearly stressed out by. That's the reason why he's looking at it so much. Good. So by teaching him, hey, you don't need to worry about it. One, with the leash pressure, right? He's going to turn away from it. And two, with the rewards once he makes the correct decision. Good. You can start to get your dog to overcome some of these things that they may be scared of when they're out on your walks, whether it's a trash can, whether it's another dog, whatever it may be. Good. Good. That's great.
Here is you want to take it out into the real world, right? So once you've mastered this indoors, you start taking it outside around higher distractions. Here we are in the parking lot of our facility. We're going to do some leash walking drills, just going up and down. Same exercises as we were working on inside the pickup. Really loose on this leash here. You start losing their attention. You're going to make a 180 turn. Good. Use your leash pressure and reward when he comes with it. Or you go to the shelter and pick up a rescue dog or something like that. It's important to, again, before you bring the dog into the house, you know what you want them to do and what you don't want them to do. Of course, when we get this tiny little cute 8-week-old puppy, like, all we want to do is cuddle on the couch with it and give it treats and give it toys and this and that. But you're kind of setting yourself up for failure sometimes if they're only ever seeing you as this like treat dispenser. You know what I mean? So we want to know what our boundaries are going to be, whether it's what rooms we don't want them to go in, how we want them to behave on a leash, what things we allow them to put in their mouth in the first place, right? Furniture access, if that's something that you care about, obviously, and you just want to stay really consistent on anytime the dog tries to do those things for that first month that they're with you, that you stop them from doing it and redirect them into something else, right? From there, obviously, you understand that training is an essential part of this process, right? If you want our dog to stop pushing the leash or stop pushing any of those types of things, you need to be able to start establishing this communication with them so you can start telling them what you want to do, right? Because without that, we're kind of just going to every situation like fingers crossed, like I hope that this gets better. The dogs don't typically grow out of this kind of stuff, you know?
And then anywhere else in Cleveland that you might go to?
I mean, I think that we try to look at the individual situation, right? Not only the individual dog and what they need for the issues that they're having, but the individual owner situation, right? Everybody lives a completely different life with their dog, right? So having this like one-size-fits-all training approach to things can be not conducive to helping both the nurse that works, you know, 13-hour shifts 3 times a week and the person that goes to the office or works from home or anything like that, right? So we try to look at like, what do you need in order to be successful and how can we make it as easy as possible for you so that the dog's happy, the owner's happy, and everybody lives in a full life.
Perfect.
And make sure, again, you're rewarding. See how he's giving you really good attention right now?
Yeah.
Especially early in the training process, you want to reinforce all of that. We want to let him know, heck yeah, that's what we want you to do right now. Like we talked about, behavior's consistent or contingent on consistent reinforcement, right? So especially, this is your first time doing this with him, and he's doing exactly what we want him to do. He's not getting any feedback from you guys.
Yeah.
Thing,
Okay.
Right?